What's up, everybody? Gonna do something a little different today. I'm gonna take you on a tour of a simple e-commerce site built on WordPress. And the reason I want to do this is because I want to take you through, there's about 5 major steps to any e-commerce implementation. 5 general ones, and like you can get more into the weeds depending on how intense and idiosyncratic your e-commerce store is. But there's 5 main steps that everyone has to do. So if you're an agency who does this kind of thing for clients, you're going to be doing these 5 things. If you're an intrepid individual who's trying to do this on your own, you're going to need to address these 5 points. So we are going to hit all 5 of the major points that are common to any e-commerce implementation on WordPress. And I want to take you through this specifically to show you how I do it, because I know that compared to the way other people do this, what I'm going to show you is way simpler. Okay, so if you've done this, if you do this for work, if you're within an agency or you do this for clients, you're going to be blown away by the way that I take care of this stuff. It's just you've not seen anything like this. Okay, and so in addition, I want to outline the system that we're going to be working with. So this is going to be MemberPress. So WordPress plus MemberPress. And in order to make this work, so in order for everything you see to work the way that it's going to work, there's 2 other components that are really 3, well, I guess we'll say, that you have to have. Focus is a theme that I have built. It's the Focus WordPress theme. Focus includes another piece of software. It runs on top of another piece of software called Thesis. So we'll count Thesis as a component, even though it's kind of implied by Focus. And then the other thing is I have a box for Thesis. It's like a plugin. You can think of it like a plugin, but it's one that integrates very tightly. And it's designed to work specifically with the Focus WordPress theme. And it's called MemberPress for, MemberPress for Focus, something like that. But bottom line, it's an integration component, a little piece that I've created to make it easy to work with MemberPress. Okay, and I don't sell this this separate piece directly. I include it for people. If I build a site for you like I built for this guy, you would get that component included in that. So anyway, I'm going to walk you through this and show you how it works, because you're going to be blown away. Because there's not really that many tutorials out there like how to do e-commerce, like how to set up the website. So I'm going to walk us through the 5 major points. I'm going to talk about it all, and we're going to see exactly what it takes to build an e-com website and how to do it right. Like, what does it take to do it right? All right, let's get started. The first thing you got to do with an e-commerce website is, what does e-com do? Well, it gives you a way to sell. So you need like a checkout page, a way to have a product, and then to have like a checkout page so people can buy the product. And then there's also something called an account area. So when people log into your website, a customer who's signed up, when they log in, they can go to their account area and see like what they've purchased, access their purchases, maybe access invoices, that kind of thing. So do stuff that's relative to their account. This is called the account area. So the first thing that I want to address is this account area. So here we are. We're inside one here. This looks this looks pretty basic, about what you'd expect. You go into account area, you can see what products you've bought, what payments you've made in the past, and you can log out. And you can also see like, okay, anything you've purchased going to display here. You can change some of the information in your account profile, basic stuff. There's not that much to it. But if you were to install MemberPress on any WordPress website, it would not look like this. Your account page would not look like this. What these ecom plugins have had to do. So the challenge of e-commerce in general with WordPress is that there's a zillion different themes. And these e-commerce pages and the functionality have to integrate with the theme. And that is a big challenge because themes are built differently. So there's not just one way to do it. These e-com companies messed around for many years until they started to figure out within the last 4 or 5 years that, we can't really build little integration packages for all these different themes that are popular. It doesn't make sense, and you have to keep up with that. It's a fool's game. It's a losing proposition. So what they did is MemberPress in particular came up with something they call Ready Launch, and other companies have done this as well. But basically, it is a departure from your theme. So if you were to just install MemberPress and go to the account area, it would not look like your website. Like this looks like it's integrated into the website. It's integrated into the design. It's seamless. There's no like jarring transition, like, oh God, this is a totally different area of the website. If you use MemberPress's Ready Launch feature, it's a totally different thing. You have like a blue sidebar over here on the left, and then like these account services, account features or whatever you want to call it, account functions. It's all presented in some little UI that they have created that MemberPress maintains, and that basically it skips your theme. It says, okay, we're not going to run the theme here. Instead, we're going to run this MemberPress page. They had to do that because, like I said, they can't possibly do tailor-made integrations for every theme that's popular out there. That doesn't work. But for you, the website owner, it might be nice that you can get something up and running, but it stinks. I mean, like, who's going to take you seriously if you've got your website looks one way, people are used to stuff looking like this, and then you go to the account area and it looks totally different. Like, that stinks. Anyone serious is going to want a fully integrated implementation here that has their branding, so that the whole experience is seamless for the customer. You never want the customer thinking like, oh God, what's going on here? So obviously it would be better if this were tightly integrated. Of course, it isn't. So anyhow, that's step one. Step one is getting a fully branded integration. For any serious website, this is going to be a necessary step. So this is actually the thing I have to show you the least, even though it's kind of requires the most work initially. Like, if you were going to have to do this would be a ton of work. But my little plugin, my box called MemberPress for Focus, you just add it to the website. Like, I'll show you here. It's we go into Thesis, we go to Boxes, we go to Manage Boxes. We have something called Focus plus MemberPress. So this, I install this, activate it, and if Focus is the active theme here, which it is, then all this stuff just works. It's tremendous. It is tremendous. It is so great to have that. So like MemberPress has certain account functions. That little plugin I showed you, that box, takes care of all that. It addresses all the little idiosyncratic points. I think the thing, there's probably like 600 lines of code or something like that is necessary to make this all integrate and work perfectly. But that is so clutch. Like, I could just, boom, install this, and I don't have to do what would take hours and hours of work. And so if you have to, so a client comes to you and says, I want e-commerce, and we're gonna integrate this on my website, and they're running whatever theme. Unless you have an integration module built for exactly that theme, and if the client is not doing anything weird with their theme that makes that stuff not work 100%, then this represents the bulk of the work that you're going to have to do if they want a fully branded website, a fully branded e-commerce website. So this is a huge deal, okay? I want to make sure you understand, even though you're not really seeing all the magic here, I want you to understand how significant it is to have this fully integrated into your design. This is priceless. This is huge. And the fact that if somebody's using the Focus WordPress theme, this stuff just, boop, integrates perfectly, uses your fonts, uses all your existing spacing, uses everything, and it's all perfect. That is absolutely priceless right there, okay? So if you work, like I said, if you work in an agency, this should be blowing your mind right now, especially if you've had to go through this painful process of integrating tightly into templates of whatever theme that the client is using. Like, that sucks and could take, many days, could take weeks, depending on how bad and how bad the theme is and how intense the ecom integration has to be. Another part about this, another aspect of this is the login page. We're going to take a look at that real quick. So here's the login page. So normally the login page for WordPress, if you just use a basic login page, let me see if we can do this. We'll do this. I think this is the, nope, it's not WP login. What is it? Login? Yeah, it's this. So it would normally look like this. But again, that's not branded. And this is normally the screen that you see when you're logging into the website and then going to be accessing the WordPress admin backend. Well, no one I know wants their customers to be able to access the WordPress admin backend. So we get around that here with this kind of login page, which is fully branded. It's incorporated into the website. It's not this jarring transition where you don't see the design, right? This is definitely preferable. This is what I want my customers to see. I don't want them to see this. This is the experience I want them to have. So that is included, like the account area and the login. That's all kind of part of the same puzzle here. All that stuff's got to be tightly integrated with the design. This even goes to the extent of like there's within Focus, there's 3, maybe 5. I don't know why I'm blanking on this right now. 5 default button styles. So so this picks up the button styles and uses the colors. So this would be echoed elsewhere in the site. Like this is the same color button you have elsewhere on the site. Like that's all great. Even the font that's used on the button. So anyhow, that is what a tight integration actually looks like. It's fully branded, incorporated into your website. That's the right way to do it. Okay, the next thing that you need to do, point number 2, so number 1 is fully branded integration. All those account pages, checkout, all that stuff. We're going to get to checkout in a moment. That requires its own discussion. The second thing is you need a dynamic navigation menu, right? If somebody's not logged in, I want a link that says login. And then if somebody is logged in, maybe all these links will change. Maybe only this one will change. I don't want to say log in if you're already logged in. So at least one link is going to change. Maybe some other ones will change as well. But the issue is, so that's simple and basic, right? The issue is WordPress doesn't do that. Like the WordPress navigation menu doesn't give you that functionality by default. You can't like have an item change into something else. You could maybe do that with JavaScript in this real like ham-fisted way, but it's not a good way to do it. It's a dumb way to do it. So we can't really use a true WP nav menu to do this. So what do we do instead? We want one item to shift. We know that. We want it to say log in if you're not logged in, and then if you are logged in, I want you to be able to access your account page. That would be preferable. How do we do it? Well, with this setup, I have a real clever way of doing this that I think is great. So nav menus are not that big a deal in terms of the way you write up the code. If we look at this, here is the nav menu code. This is simple. As far as HTML goes, this is quite simple. It's a list, an unordered list. The WordPress navigation menu, if you use WordPress's automatic nav menu functionality, it spits out very verbose nav menu code that's gross to me. Like if we're interested in maximum performance and reducing the amount of cruft in the HTML document, so when we look at the document, I don't want to see a bunch of crap here that's not supposed to be here. Well, WordPress unfortunately spits out a bunch of crap. Whenever you allow WordPress to do anything, it spits out a bunch of junk. So I don't like that. I want to get around that. Here's how I get around that and add a dynamic item to my menus. Within Thesis, which again is included with Focus, there is a piece of functionality called modular content. So what I do is I go into modular content and set up a navigation menu, and I just write the HTML for the navigation menu. So I have, it's the basic list items. These are always going to appear, the first 4. So Fair Hearing Decisions, Pro Toolkit, Services, and About, these are going to appear no matter what your status is. And these last 2, a subscribe link and a login link, are dynamic. You will see the subscribe link if you are not currently subscribed and logged in. And you will see the login link if you're not currently logged in. If you are logged in, you'll see an account link. If you're logged in but you are not a paid subscriber, you will still see the subscribe link. And if you're logged in and a paid subscriber, you will see account and no longer see the subscribe link. So these last 2 items are dynamic. I solve this problem and get around this by using shortcodes. So I have 2 little shortcodes here, subscribe link and login link. And these are automatically included in the Focus Plus MemberPress plugin that I showed you. And it takes care of this, and it knows what to do for these links just based on the status of the user who's using the website. So that's just automatically taken care of. Boom. You don't even have to think about it. You set up your menu like this. And then, so this is a modular content. It has an ID of 2916. So in our little implementation here in the code, I have a property in my little implementation class, which this is short. It's 230 lines of code, give or take. I indicate the nav menu 2916, and then I tell this system, it's a real simple little thing here, somewhere I tell that Focus Plus MemberPress module that this is the nav menu we want to use. So here we go. It's where's nav menu? Here we go. So I'm adding the nav menu, I'm hooking it into place. And then it says just run the shortcode with the modular content that's specified. And if I ever want to use a different nav menu, I can create a new menu. It'll be a different piece of modular content, and I just go into the code and change the ID of that modular content, and boom, now we're using a different menu. So that is super, super handy that this gets output in that way. And this enables the client to change these links. If they want to change the links that appear in the nav menu, they can do that. And if they wanted to make a wholesale change, they could contact me and I'd set up a different one for them, but it would be really easy for me to do. It would take a couple minutes. No big deal at all. So that is great. We're going to do this, clean it up a little bit. So what I just did is the domain, like the protocol plus the domain, https whatever.com, was included in this link. When you have internal site links, and this is just bonus material for the video, it's best not to include the domain and the domain protocol, the HTTP or HTTPS. You can leave that stuff out. These are relative URLs, but it's always if you have relative URLs, it's assumed whatever the protocol is, HTTPS, and yoursite.com is assumed, and then it just goes to that URL. So this is cleaner, and then if you ever move this site content to a new domain in the future, you wouldn't have to go through each item and change the URL references. They would all just work. So this is the best way to do things sustainably, and it results in less HTML output because you're not, repeating the redundant URL and the protocol and all that stuff. So you get cleaner HTML, and you get something that works in more environments. So that is the way to do it if you're a pro. So there we go. We've got number one was the fully branded integration on the account pages. Number two is the dynamic account menu or the dynamic navigation menu that gives people access to the account or access to the login or a quick link to go buy whatever you're selling, that kind of thing. That's a critical piece of any ecom integration. And I think this way of handling the nav menu is super elegant and great. And it's real flexible, like I said. So that's pro right there. All right, now moving on to the sign-up page, which is one of my favorites. So we'll go on, in this case, it is the checkout or sign-up page. This one is a combination of both. There's actually three basic styles of checkout pages that I deal with. There's many more out there. You can come up with any type you like, but I think there's three main ones. Number one is a direct sign-up. Let me show you an example of a direct sign-up. So on DIY, this is a direct sign up. I'm showing you, here's what you can buy. You can buy, have different levels of product purchase. You proceed to the checkout and there's one item, boom, and you just buy. That's a direct purchase page. You buy one item and you see it and then you buy it. That's a direct purchase page. The second style of purchase page is known as subscribe or buy. I came across this probably about 2 years ago, and I really, really like the convention. Subscribe or buy is kind of the way to go, I think. So I will show you an example of subscribe or buy. I'm using that here on this website. That's what the client wanted. So what he has is this is a site for a type of law known as elder law, so like old people. And he has some articles and some, all sorts of stuff that is going to be valuable for other lawyers who practice elder law. He has these materials that are valuable to them. These are what's behind his paywall. It's this content that's relevant to these lawyers to help them do the job more easily. That's behind his paywall. He also has other stuff that's free. If you sign up for a free account, you can get access to that, and then he can kind of coax you along, and maybe you become a pro customer. So it's in his best interest to have you sign up for the free account, and then he can send you emails along the way, and maybe someday you'll sign up for a pro account. Okay, but we do this is psychologically a really good way to do it, the subscribe or buy, because you go to this page, you maybe not going to buy, but you'll probably subscribe, right? You're going to take one of the two available actions. And there's also a good psychological thing here. When you give people lots of options, they tend not to take any of them. They won't make a choice. They won't take any of the actions. They just leave. When you give people one option, they're really likely to take that one option if it appeals to them. If it doesn't appeal to them, they'll just leave. But interestingly, this or that, especially when one of the items is free, is very profound psychologically. The user is more likely to take one of either of these actions. So this is like sort of the sweet spot. Subscribe or buy, I think, is a really good way to do it if it matches your offering. So this subscribe or buy page is really cool. Let me show you how it works real quick. When you load it on, when you load into the page, this free option is selected. This client chose for that to be the case. he's got control over this. He's got a little way to manage this. So this is also managed with modular content. Actually, it's managed with focus cards, product select pro and product select free. So he can go into here. Focus cards is an add-on for focus. So you buy that, and then you could do focus cards enables you to do this kind of display. These are cards. There's a card, there's a card. You see it's raised up off the page. It's got, it's framed. You got an image at the top, and then you got a description and stuff. You can put anything you want in here. Cards are a really handy way to display anything and make it seem like a substantial thing. It's one thing to have like just a link on a web page. It's quite another to have a presentation like this. Like this seems more substantial to the user. This is a thing where a link is not really a thing. A link is just like, hey, look over here. This is like, what is this? This is a thing. A thing is more substantial than a link. So anyway, he can change some stuff here. There's little stuff. I've given him a little thing. He's like one item he has to change in here, and it changes the default on this page. So if he changes one thing on there, it'll make the other one selected instead. So he has control over that, which is really cool. So for now, we've chosen to make the free one selected. But if the user selects this, so here's what they need to do to sign up if it's free. Here's all the information they need. Total payment to say $0. But then if they click on the other one, then there's a different set of options and stuff, and then the credit card form will appear here at the bottom, and then the user can fill that out, and boom. That's how they can purchase this product. Really, really cool. Subscribe or buy is a really cool way to do a checkout page. So the Focus plus MemberPress box that I have, you just tell it what kind of checkout method you want. You tell it subscribe or buy. This one says right here, this says subscribe or pay, and it says true. So that means it's telling that system, hey, use this type of checkout page instead of, and then the third type, which I'll get into. So it's not direct. It's not direct purchase. It's not just one item. It's this two items, subscribe or buy. And then the third type of checkout page is a free trial. And so on my Golden Ratio Typography website, I have a free trial. Here's what that looks like. That is just, boom, you just enter your username, email, start your free trial. This is zero friction. I set this up. This uses MemberPress as well. I set this up because I want people to, just get into this. I want to give them zero reason to object to what I'm offering. Just get in here, check it out, and then once their 7-day free trial expires, then they're able to buy the product at any time during their free trial. But once their 7-day free trial expires, then they have to buy the product. So the UI changes based on, your free trial status. Free trial is a little bit tougher to implement. It requires a little bit more stuff, so it costs just a little bit more. Subscriber buy costs more than the direct checkout. There's a little bit more to it, but it's a really cool system. And like the way I've got this set up, like it's really easy to run. It's actually easy for me to set up as well. If you're an agency person, you should be salivating. I've made this really easy to set all this stuff up. And like on the first time I set it up, yeah, it's non-trivial. It's tough to figure out. But once you got it going on, you got it set up like this, like, yeah, that's the way to do it. So 3 different styles of checkout pages: direct, subscribe or buy, and then the free trial leading to the bigger purchase later on. That is another huge step in the ecom process. Obviously, the subscription page is sort of the most important thing, really. All right, the next thing, the fourth thing you got to do with any ecom website is to deliver the product. Whatever the user bought, you gotta give it to them. Now, how do we do that? What are we doing and how do we do that? Well, in this case, the product is information. The product is information. And that information lives on some pages of the website that we would like to protect. We want to make it so that if a random user goes to one of these pages, they're not going to be able to see the content in question. So what we've done here is we've got 2 levels of access. We've got the free subscriber. So if you want to see this, for example, this estate recovery panel takeaways, you can see the contents of the page, but you'd have to be logged in as a free subscriber to be able to see the rest of the content. That is pretty slick. That's pretty slick. And then we've got this one requires a pro subscription. Let's check that out. Can't see anything there. You got to subscribe. And if you already have a subscription, you can log in. So this content obviously protected. And it's protected in 2 different ways based on the status of your subscription. The question is, how do we do that? How do we protect this content and make it behave like this? What do we do? MemberPress and other e-commerce plugins that work in a similar way offer a basic way to protect content. All right, I'm going to show you that. This is what most people do. Underneath where you enter your content, you have MemberPress unauthorized access, and you can set it. You can say, I want, whoever. You can show excerpts, you can show an unauthorized message, or you can show a login form encouraging people to log in to see this item. What we find in practice and in the implementation itself, so in two ways, we discover that this is kind of cumbersome to keep up with. Every time you do a new piece of content, you got to make a decision, is this free or is this paid? And what level of access do I want? And does this even offer me the ability to discern between levels of access? Like I can't really choose, like free subscribers can see this and paid subscribers can see more. I can't do that with these access controls. And I'd say that's pretty common. I'm not like an expert on all these ecom plugins. I can't say, oh, Restrict Content Pro does this and this, and I know it's exactly that. But they all kind of work like this. And so getting that level of granularity, saying I want free subscribers to be able to see something, but you have to at least be subscribed to that level. And then I want the pro subscribers, the people who are really paying me money, to be able to see this. That is a more nuanced way to do it. So how do we do that? Well, I bypass all this stuff. I don't use this. My client's not using this stuff. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to each piece of content and manage it like that. I don't want to do that. What I'd like to do instead is to use contextual clues to determine how we should behave. Okay? Here's what I mean when I say that. So the contextual clues here is that the Pro Toolkit page is the gateway to all of the protected content on this site. It is the head page for all of it. Anything, well, even this one's not actually protected that way. That's interesting. So I guess I might have set some stuff up differently for him. But let's see about this one. Yeah. So, okay. This page is a subpage of the Pro Toolkit page. So let's go to it on this side so we can see a little bit more about it. So this page, if we edit the page, so this is the one that requires the pro access. So we'll edit the page and we can see that this page has a parent. So any page where he wants the paid access level, like you got to have the paid access to look at the content, all he has to do is make it a subpage or a child of the Pro Toolkit page. That's all he has to do. If we go to a URL that is a child of that Pro Toolkit page, the system says, hey, this is supposed to be protected. It's got to be this level of access or you can't see it. That's super, super cool. That is just that, using the context and the URL structure to do this, to me, makes more sense. It also leads to better site organization. So you can think about it this way. If all you do is create pages at the root level, so it's like yoursite.com/this page URL, that's one level deep. If all your stuff is one level deep like that, then it's kind of a scatter plot. You just got to go through and, okay, this page this page that. You're treating them all differently. There's no pattern there. But if you do it the way I've described, where you've got this hierarchical thing, where you've got a parent page that's the gateway to all the paid stuff, all you have to do is look at the URL and you know where you are. Oh, this is a protected page. And outside of that, it's not. And it even gives you more freedom with the way you run your website. It's like clarity. Okay, this page is going to have this URL. This is going to be free. Oh, if I want to make it paid, I have to do it like this. So to me, that's clarifying, and it's simpler, and it requires you to do less each time you create some new content or whatever. So that's going to reduce mistakes. It creates all this clarity and all this organization downstream. Like, this is the way to do it. So let's look at that real quick. How does that work? So for premium content, we're looking at the little code that protects the premium content, okay? And so within Thesis, which again is part of this system, if you have Focus, then you also have Thesis. Thesis has some really cool stuff, tools that help you do WordPress better, okay? And one of these is this little function called isTree. And what the isTree function does is it looks at the current URL and says, is this page part of the tree that is established by some page. In this case, the tree is established by the Pro Toolkit page. It's the top of the tree. Any pages that are descendants of this thing are part of the tree. So if you're the top page or any page underneath, you're part of the tree. So isTree says, are you part of this tree? And define the root node of the tree, which is the Pro Toolkit page that I've showed you. If we're on that page, if we're on the top of the tree, we just show the content. So anybody can access this. It's whatever, what shows here is whatever shows in the WordPress content editor. So what we see is what we get there, okay? If we're on that page, that's what we see. Now, if we're not on that top page, then we must be on a subpage, and those subpages are supposed to be protected. If we're on one of those pages and the user is not a pro, is not a paid customer, then show them that little link that we saw earlier that says, hey, show them this little thing. You're not a pro subscriber. You got to do this or that. Easy, easy. Show them that. Or if they are, if they do have access, then boom, it will return. Actually, this one says if they are a pro, then show them the content that they've requested. And if they're not a pro, then show them a thing that says, well, you got to be at this level to get it. And then if the whole thing, if the page that we're examining is not part of the tree, we just ignore it and return the content, so it will just show whatever's on the page. That is super, super, super easy. I mean, there's no easier way to do this. So that's the jam right there. That's how we protect content. I think that's using that isTree function is so clutch, and using the page hierarchy, the URL hierarchy to determine where you are, using those contextual clues to make decisions instead of having to go in and make decisions, these MemberPress decisions like this that are, that may not even give you the granularity you want anyway. Like obviously the method I've shown you is superior. All right. And then, so that's 4 of the main things you got to do with any ecom website. Let's review. Fully branded integration on the pages and with the templates and all that stuff. A dynamic navigation menu. People got to have a way to access their stuff. A checkout sign-up page that actually, has some meaning. I showed you that, and I showed you 3 different types. Protecting the content. How do we do that? What's the best way to do it? I think what I showed you is the best way to do it. That isTree function is so clutch. No one else has that. And then number 5, the 5th thing we got to do on any ecom implementation is performance. We got to do performance. What do I mean by performance? Well, whenever you put an e-commerce plugin on a website and you go to a page, well, some of them just barf out styles and scripts on every page of the website. But with the Focus plus MemberPress box that handles this integration, handles all the dirty work of the integration, it knows, it says, well, if this is not a page where we are using MemberPress components, get rid of all the styles and scripts that MemberPress adds. MemberPress has actually gotten better about this over the years, so they kind of do a decent job of not serving junk on a page when their assets are not present. But when you go to the account page, for example, or actually, I'll back up. If you go to a login page, let's see what shows here. So the login page does need some assets, but it'll dump more than you need. And so I figured out, and I've put into that Focus plus MemberPress box exactly what you need. I've stripped out all the stuff you don't need, kept the stuff that you do. All this works, and it serves. The content is served as quickly as possible. So there's a couple of JavaScripts here that are necessary, and then there's a couple of CSS files that get included to handle, like if somebody doesn't enter the right information, to do the little eyeball to show password. There's just little stuff that niceties that MemberPress adds. So I add those in here on this page, but it doesn't, it's not that onerous. We're not talking about too much weight in terms of the styles and scripts, but I don't want these bogging down every other page of the website. I want every page to be as fast as it can possibly be. So if we don't have to serve anything, we don't serve anything. And if we do have to serve something, we're going to make sure we're serving the bare minimum so that we're always at the highest standard of performance on any page that we're on. This is the right way to do it. But if you're operating just some random theme and some random integration with MemberPress, it's going to be really hard to do that. It's really hard to pare down those styles and scripts to only what you need, because it can just usually the way these things happen, it's just a big pile of junk. It's really hard to untangle that mess and figure out, oh, I only need this, this, and this. Focus, thesis, MemberPress on my implementation that makes that all trivial. It's super easy to do. This is huge. So I can get better results than somebody else. There's a variety of reasons why, but this is a big one. This implementation has been, I've poured over it many times, and I've been able to get it down to just the bare minimum of what you need. Now, if we go to an account page like this, again, you have styles and scripts. Here's some styles, quite a few, 5 or 6 of those things, and then scripts that are necessary for the account functions to work properly. That's a lot of stuff. I don't want these serving on every page, but since this is a relatively light page, those styles and scripts slow it down a little bit, but it's not that bad. And like I said, that cruft, that excess is not affecting other pages of the website. It's not slowing it down. They're quarantined to only the area where they need to appear. That's huge. That's huge. And this is my developer account on this website, by the way, and I'm not subscribed to any of the products. So if I were, it would show me links, quick links to access the stuff I bought. So unfortunately, I can't show that to you. I'm not a customer, but it would appear there if I were. Just another word on that. So anyway, that style and script optimization is absolutely necessary, and it's most necessary in all of WordPress. In all of WordPress, it is most necessary on ecom implementations because that is where things can get the most out of control. That's where I've seen sites be the slowest, and you get the most crap on pages, and it's hard to untangle that mess. So this thing I've showed you makes it easier to do that. So there's the 5 points. Fully branded integration with your templates, dynamic navigation menu, a checkout page or a sign-up page, something like that, so people can actually buy the product. Protecting the content, like how do we do that? What do we show? What do we not show? That kind of thing. And then ensuring performance when all of that is said and done. Those are the 5 main things you got to do with any solid e-commerce implementation on WordPress. Now, because of the way I have built all this stuff, it is pretty easy for me to do this, to deliver this for people. So I know that other agencies, usually we're talking $10,000 and up to fully integrate something like this, to have it fully branded with the website, like this subscribe page with this kind of stuff and this behavior, and even the options like subscribe or buy, or the free trial, all that stuff. I mean, this gets expensive. It could be well into 5 figures. We're talking $25,000. Not crazy at all. It could be very expensive. I can do this for starting at $4,500, but realistically, we're talking about $5,500 for like the simplest type of implementation, up to about $7,000 for the stuff I've shown you today. Across the industry, I don't think you're going to find anyone who can do a job this good. I mean, it's a joke. Like, if somebody can do it that cheap, they're probably in another country, and the results are going to be a joke compared to what I showed you today. I can do it way cheaper than everybody else, the bottom line. Now, this is not really my business. My business is making software and selling that. I sell a product. I don't mind doing this kind of work for people. I wouldn't mind doing a few more this year. That's great. But I really want to get your attention if you are an agency or at an agency. Agencies do a good job of, getting customers in under higher price points. I could do that if I wanted to have an agency. I don't really want to do that. But I think this is a good idea. If you have an agency, you got a pipeline for customers, and you can get people under 5-figure contracts, why don't you have me do the work? You set it all up. You collect $12,500 from the client. You pay me $6,000, and you guys keep the rest, and you got something that's completely great. Completely great. Better than you can deliver, I promise. If I can't beat you, your money back. I will beat anyone on the planet. I will have the best ecom implementation of all time. No one is going to beat this MemberPress implementation. No one will beat it. Impossible. And there's other tools here that this guy has. This website is so great. It's if you want to look at it, it's elderlawwis.com, 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 Elder Law, Wisconsin. And this is an absolute. This is just a great archetype for how to do simple information-based websites. Like he's done such a good job. It's so well organized. He's got like these hearing decisions with all these, lots of case details and like great formatting on all these pages. He's got, this little tree where people can navigate certain aspects of the elder law. I mean, it's really, really good. Got these decisions. These are focus cards. They're Like this works really well dynamically when you have smaller screens and stuff. I mean, there's a little bit of niceties baked into this. It's just so good. Like, this is such a good website. And it's super fast. It could be even faster, frankly, if it was on a better host. But, you know, this is no joke what you're looking at. But anyway, if you have an agency, reach out to me. Consider this, okay? But here's the qualifications for this kind of website. Number one, either the site must already be running on Focus, or number two, they must be willing to, you could add like yoursite.com/ecom or, you know, some folder, whatever. And you could install Focus and a different WordPress instance there. But bottom line is, it has to be clean. It has to be a clean website with Focus. I'm not going to do this with some other WordPress theme. That's hell. I don't want to work in hell. I only work in paradise. But if you want the best results possible, this is what you should be selling your people, your clients. They can run, I mean, they've got more formatting features for all their content anyway. That's what Focus does. And then the results on the back end, like, this is the cleanest HTML you're ever going to see on WordPress, I promise, especially considering it's an ecom integration, my goodness. But yeah, this is the real deal. Consider that. I think that level of sort of like sales arbitrage, you guys be the sales team, I can do the implementation. It's cheap for me, it's expensive for you, and I can do a better job. So something to consider. You know, this is this is the way to do ecom. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want, if you're curious about this, you can go to DIYthemes.com. That's my website. Click on this e-commerce link in the top navigation, and then you can kind of see. I run you through all the aspects of what I just told you, and you can see what's up. And you can contact me through a form on that page. All right. Thank you for watching. If you are into ecom and WordPress, and especially if you do any of these implementations, I hope I got your wheels turning today. I promise you, you just saw the best thing you've ever seen. All right? Take it easy, gang. I'll see you in the next video.